What up, comic book fam? Welcome back to Comic Book Circumstances. I'm hitting you with my haul for Wednesday, August 11th. I'm late this week because I ended up going and watching the Royals play the Yankees in Kauffman Stadium. Didn't go well for the Royals and it was hot as hell, but I had a good time. This was a light week and it ended up being an actual light week for me. I didn't get in and buy more stuff. So this is probably the smallest haul I've had since I started doing these videos, but I'm excited to show you what I got this week. All right, before I get into my haul this week, I want to talk about a recent milestone my channel hit. We hit 100 subscribers, which I never really dreamed of actually hitting that number. I know that's a nothing number, but it's a big deal to me. I'm real excited about it, so thanks to everybody who came and clicked that button for me. I am going to be doing a giveaway for 250 subscribers. I'm going to be making various videos that will be included in this giveaway, and then when we hit 250 subscribers, I'll go ahead and pull in all the comments on all of the various videos that were a part of it, and we'll do a giveaway. So commenting on multiple videos will get you multiple entries into this contest. And then of course, you got to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, help my channel grow. We're going to do it at 250. I'm really excited about that. For the giveaway, I'm going to be jumping in on the Kang the Conqueror hype. This is Avengers 267, the first appearance of the Council of Kang, which could end up being a big deal in the MCU. If you've watched Loki, you might be as excited about it as I am. I was specking hard on the Loki series before it came out, and this was one of the books that I was hunting down to grab. So I was able to grab it for $3, really cheap, and I'm gonna pass that score off to one of my subscribers, so excited to do that. I'll be giving away this Avengers 267, which got a lot of hype recently because Jonathan Majors, who will be playing Kang in the Quantumania, was recently photographed at Golden Apple Comics picking up this very same issue. So I think there's a lot of room for this one to grow. Excited for one of you to have it. And then in addition to that one, I'm also gonna give you Avengers 269, another one that I was specking on. This is another Kang cover, but in addition to Kang, you've got Immortus as well. They're battling it out on the cover in this one. Super dope cover. Really excited that I have multiple copies of it, and I'm really excited to pass one of these along to one of my incredible subscribers. So definitely comment on this video. This will be the first video in this series, and that will put you in for the big drawing at the end when we finally hit 250 subscribers. Excited to do this, y'all. All right, starting with Marvel Comics, we've got Defenders #1, and this is actually the only one that I haven't read yet. I'm probably gonna let this one stack up a little bit. I've seen some reviews. They haven't been, some have liked it, some haven't liked it, so I have no idea how I'm gonna feel about it. But I'm interested in jumping into a story about Doctor Strange, so looking forward to checking this one out. Next up, we've got Spider-Man, Spider Shadow #5. This is the end of the arc for this story from Chip Zdarsky. I went back and read all of them before I read this one, just to get a full feel of the whole story before I read the finale. And it wasn't the best story ever, but it wasn't a bad story. I don't regret buying the series. I thought it was overall a fun and interesting one. It was an interesting look at what would have happened had Spider-Man kept the symbiote suit and what would have done to him. It actually made him go a little overboard. He started killing villains as a way to stop the crime, since he had been fighting the same people over and over again. The symbiote convinced him that maybe killing people would solve the problems. He eventually breaks away, but the symbiote gets a hold of Reed Richards, and the story goes from there. I won't spoil the whole thing. One thing I thought was weird about the finale, Spider-Man didn't bond with the symbiote because the symbiote said Spider-Man loved Mary J too much for him to be able to bond. So he goes and takes over Reed Richards, and it's like, does Reed Richards not love his wife? Is Sue not? I thought it bothered me a little bit, but overall I liked the story. I liked the end. In the end, you have Spider-Man, who is outed as Peter Parker, as a member of the Fantastic Four going forwards. Thought it was cool, interested to see if we're gonna get anything more in this series with Spider-Man as a part of the Fantastic Four. Next up from Marvel, we've got Children of the Atom #6. Now this is another one that I went back, I read the whole thing because I've been a little lost by this one. I'm not familiar with X-Men, where they are in the books and this whole thing with Krakoa. So it took me some time to get acclimated to the story. So that's why I went back and reread it all, and I felt a lot better about it. I'm more interested in it, more understanding of what's going on the second time around. And so this is not my favorite read, but this one's been good enough for me to continue with it. I'm interested enough to see where this is going to go. Next up, we've got America Chavez #5, and at the end of this one, it says that this is the end for now. So I don't know if that means that this series is done or if it's just going on hiatus and coming back. I very much hope it is the latter. I enjoyed the art in this series. I enjoyed the style of things and how they looked. I like America Chavez. I didn't know anything about her before I read this series, but I thought she was dope and her story was cool and interesting. I don't fully understand the extent of her powers exactly, but I like America Chavez. Excited to read more about her and her sister, hopefully here in the near future. Next up from Marvel, we have Daredevil #33. This was another one. I went back and read the previous few issues just to get reacclimated to this story. And I really, really, really enjoy Elektra as Daredevil. She looks so dope to me. I love the way the hair flows in the costume. It's just really cool story. I'm enjoying it on her side. I haven't enjoyed the story with Matt Murdock in jail as much. It hasn't been interesting, but this book was definitely a step up in the story. You see Matt Murdock finally make his move against the warden in this prison, and I'm not exactly sure what the hell he's doing, but I'm interested in hell to find out what it is. But we've definitely finally got some action from Matt Murdock, so you're getting two stories now that are both interesting to me. So hoping that it stays at this pace going forward. I expect that it will based on where we left off at the end of this one, but I'm enjoying this one from Chip Zdarsky. Glad I jumped in on it. Next, moving on to DC, we've got Joker #6 from James Tynion IV. Everybody's buzzing about the news. He announced that he's going to be leaving Joker and he's going to be leaving Batman in the next, in a few issues from now to go do his own thing on Substack. So that really makes me question whether or not I'm going to continue reading Joker and Batman, because he was literally the only reason that I started reading those two books. So we'll see where it is and where I feel about the story. I'll probably give the new people a chance, but they're going to be probably on a short rope when we get to it. The last issue was a filler issue, and this one has been people have been saying this one's been a filler issue as well. I'm going to hold off on 5 and 6, maybe jump back in with 7 and binge it all, because I like reading it that way. And then in addition to the A cover, I went ahead and picked up this side cover. I'm not sure which cover this one is, but I kind of wish I would have picked up the cover with Punchline as well. But I'm trying to pull back on buying multiple covers of Joker. But same thing with Berserker. I got to stop buying multiple covers of those. Next up, we've got Fight Girls #2 from AWAUpshot and Frank Cho. This one, I read the first one and I wasn't immediately locked in. I liked the art, it was gorgeous, but I'm really more of a story person, so I really appreciate art. I will buy a cover, but I'm not gonna read a story for art. I liked the art, but the story was like, I don't know. But this second one sucked me in a little bit more. You've got this side story where they're investigating one of the contestants. Apparently she's not who she says she is, so the question is, who is she for real? And she's an interesting contestant, so Xander Blackwater, I think her name is. But that part of the story is keeping me locked in on this one. I'm definitely going to check out #3. We'll see what's up, but liking the art though. The art is nice on this one. Next up from IDW, we've got Kanto #2, The Lion-Hearted #2. I have actually not reading this one yet. I'm gonna stack up these because I like Kanto, but I like to read it a bunch together. So you might say I should buy the trade paperback, but I don't like waiting for the trade paperback is the big reason. Although I do have plans of shifting to more trade paperback. I am buying a lot of comics and I'm gonna start having a problem of where the hell do I put these. I buy a lot of comics with the idea of maybe I would sell them someday. but I haven't done a whole lot of selling, so it's a little out of control. So I might be switching to trade paperbacks more for that reason, but I'm still going to be buying comics. I love going in every Wednesday to check them out. But that aside, I'm stacking these up, but I do enjoy Canto. Interested to see what Will and Jada Pinkett Smith's production company does with this one when we finally get to see it on the screen. Next up from Aftershock Comics, we've got Bunny Mask number 3. Now this story is wild and all over the place. You don't know what the hell is going on. This story has been a little bit like Vanilla Sky for me, whereas I remember watching that movie and it was setting up a lot of questions where you're like, what is going on? You know, you really want to figure it out, and then you get to the end of that movie, at least for me, and it was like, blah, you know, like the explanation wasn't what I needed it to be. And I have concerns about that for Bunny Mask. It's like there's a lot of questions. I'm curious about the answers to these questions, but man, if the answers don't hit it, then this story won't be as good in the end. But I'm interested enough to find out how that's going to happen. Will it be a Game of Thrones sort of ending, or will they be able to lock it and pull things together? I'm hoping for the latter, but I'm definitely going to stick around to find out. Next up from Boom Comics, we've got Eve number 4, and this one has been one of my favorite comics to read. I've really been enjoying this one. It's been tugging at my heartstrings as a father, and you've got the author's blurbs about the story at the end that have also been tugging at my heartstrings. So I've been looking forward to this one for every release, and I'm looking forward to the completion of it with the next issue. We learned a lot more information. We learned who the girl she met at the end of 3 was in 4. They give us more about that, and they open up the world and give us more questions as to what's really going on. They might be playing with time in this story where you think you're watching the present, but you might be watching actually the past. So I don't know if that's the answer, but I'm definitely going to stick around to find out on this one. Loving this one from Victor Lavelle. Then I also picked up the 1 in 10 incentive cover because I just can't help myself. I'm buying these Eve incentive covers, man. If they're sitting there in the shop and they're not ridiculously priced, then I'm probably going to go ahead and pick it up. All right, moving on to Image Comics last. First, we've got the 6 sidekicks of Trigger Keaton. This is one that I didn't initially jump in on, but I saw enough of the YouTube community talk highly about it, say it was funny, say it was interesting. And then I watched a video from Dank Comics where he highlighted this one, and that was enough to push me over and go ahead and jump in on this series. And I'm glad that I did. It's a funny series about some sidekicks on a TV show for this Chuck Norris character who is a super big asshole, and somebody kills him and nobody really cares because he was such a big asshole, but for whatever reason one of the sidekicks has got a hair up his ass to go ahead and find out who did it, and he's pulling along the other sidekicks who are coming along for various reasons. So I'm interested in this one. I've been chuckling at this one. I'm glad that I jumped in, looking forward to more. And then last up from Image Comics, and overall, we got Silver Coin number 5. I didn't enjoy 3 and 4 as much. 1, I liked it, although it felt a little generic. 2, I liked it. I liked the Friday the 13th feel of 2, and then 3 and 4 were kind of ho-hum for me. But I really enjoyed 5. I really felt like this one pulled me back in. It gives you a little history about the coin, how it came to be, and I thought it was a dope story about how that came to be. So I'm locked back in on this one. We're gonna get some new writers on the next few batches, so I'm interested to see what they do with this story. I really want this to be good, as it reminds me of my childhood and the TV show Friday the 13th back in the day, where they would go out and try and find these evil artifacts that would affect people's lives in ways, and they would show something about humanity and the ways in which we use these things. And a few of those episodes really stuck with me, and that was the big reason why I was super interested in this series. It hasn't quite delivered for me, but it's been good enough for me to stick along and see what they're gonna do with it. PlanetComicon is here in Kansas City next week. weekend, and I'm gonna be going to it for the first time on Friday. I took my day off. I'm gonna be there all day. So if you're seeing this video and you're gonna be there too, definitely hit me up. I'm definitely looking for some homies to show me the ropes, because I'm gonna be out there like a babe, like a green. I'm not gonna have any idea what I'm doing, but I'm excited to jump in and find out. I'm gonna be bringing my Cullen Bunn and my Scotty Young comic books. Hopefully I'll be able to get some of those signed, because I know they're gonna be there. And there's a lot of other great artists and writers there as well. So I'm excited to jump in, and hopefully I can bring back some dope scores from one of the vendors. Until next time, peace, comic book fam.